Well, take a drive through any East Texas town and it will not take long to see the sign saying help wanted. It's an example of the ongoing labor shortage. So, of course, that is the problem, but what are the possible solutions? That's what a panel of business leaders tackled today in Tyler.
We have more job openings than workers available to fill those openings.
Dr. Manuel Reyes leads the Hibbs Institute at UT Tyler's Souls College of Business, the host of this panel discussion examining the labor shortage from an East Texas perspective.
So this is problematic, and this is preventing us to stop the inflation. It's one of the many reasons why we are struggling to mitigate inflation.
So how do businesses attract new workers? The head of human resources for Tyler's John Souls Foods says it begins with taking care of existing employees.
We want to listen to what they have to say and take their feedback on how we can improve the workplace.
Among those in attendance, business and economic leaders and the president of UT Tyler, where school leaders are focused on filling open jobs right here in East Texas.
I was speaking with a couple of leaders of our accounting firms, and there's a serious shortage of accountants, and I would not have thought about that, and that really helps us shape our curriculum and help us direct where we want to put our resources to meet the employment needs of our region.
Among the panelists, a research scholar with Rice University who believes immigration visas could help, pulling in workers from other countries like Canada and Mexico.
We have a problem of aging workforce, aging population, a decline in fertility rates, and people retire early because of the COVID-19 pandemic, so we need workers.
Now, Rodriguez Sanchez says next year's election makes legislation dealing with these types of visas unlikely, at least in the short term. In the meantime, he says educating industries and companies about the visas could help.